it's me, the converted man. Wow, that was annoying. All right, who else is sick and tired of me yelling my name out real loud? No one? Okay. How's it going, everyone? Well, this started out. Yeah, that's all good things do in the comments section, you know. Some random video. I don't even know if I watched the video, to be honest. At this point, I just left a comment. Sometimes you just go, whoop, I'm just going to leave a comment. Not going to bother to watch the video. And they catch you out on it. Did you watch the video? No, I didn't watch the video. I just wanted to leave a comment, you know. I was just driving by, trying to find a video to do a video about, and I was just leaving comments as I went. I was doing drive-by commenting. Comment! You're wrong! Comment! You're wrong! You're wrong! Wrong! You're wrong. Also, and you're wrong. Oh, that was a thing that you said? Oh, guess what? Let me pull up my logic. You are wrong, sir. And here's how you're wrong. Here's 50 things that you did that were wrong. Also, by the way, I don't like the way that you look, and I wanted to mention that, even though it has nothing to do with your argument, but it's the internet, and we got to do that sort of crap. So, I've insulted you on top of everything else. That's what I was doing. So, that's how that started, you know, just leaving random comments, you know. Trying to get this evidence I've been looking for this whole time. Doing this for years. Haven't found it yet. Anyways, so that's how this starts. 3 months ago. Oh, man. That was a different me. I was in a different place, different location. I'm in a new place, a new location. But this is still a good comment. I'm going to read it. And I'm going to read his stuff. And I'm going to respond to his stuff. And I'm also going to read the stuff where I responded to the stuff, which will probably be the same sort of response that I'm giving anyways. But that's what I'm doing because it's the thing I do. All right. It'll make sense later, maybe. I don't know. Do you have any evidence for your idea of God? Not an argument, but evidence. I thought that was pretty crystal clear. Crystal? What the hell? Can't say words. Crystal clear. Yeah, crystal clear. And, you know, I thought it was pretty straightforward. You could just be like, no, I don't. Yes, I do. Here it is, you know. But no, you know that's not going to happen. You know and I know that's not going to happen. So he says, well, this question/comment is for another video, and one we could have if you want to chat over it live, which I should have taken them up on. Actually, I should do that here. But hey, you want to talk live? We'll talk live. Sure. I'm happy to do that. Anyways, whatever. Wow, I can't even read what he wrote. I'd just ask, firstly, what your definition of evidence is and what kind of evidence you require. All right, well, who cares what my definition of evidence is? Yeah, just offer whatever you think you got. How about that? Do that. You know, don't worry about it. Just give me whatever you have. Or we go with, you know, standard definition of evidence. You know, we go, okay, it's a Google standard. Let's just assume that whatever pops up on Google first, that's the definition. Now, what is that? Well, okay, well, we got to go to Google, I guess. Evidence is information that supports a proposition or claim. That's the AI overview. Good enough for me. All right, back to this. Does he have that? Well, that's the question we're asking, isn't it? So I just said the same sort of evidence that we have for everything else. I thought that was pretty clear. You know, I look over here. I've got evidence for this thing over here. I got evidence for that. For everything I have the same sort of evidence, seems like. Then sometimes now, and he kind of gets this in a little bit. He's like, well, but sometimes we have different types of evidence, but that doesn't matter. We still have the same evidence for everything. So what you got is basically I'm saying, look around, look at the trees. You got evidence of the trees, right? Nobody questions the trees. Nobody questions the fact that we have windows or doors or stairs, that we have balconies and ledges and tennis courts or large bodies of water that we call lakes, or even small bodies of water that we call ponds, or where it's like sort of large but not large enough, where it's not a lake but it's not a pond, but you don't know what the hell to call it. It's a body of water. That's all unquestionable. We know that for sure. The fact that I am talking to you, whoever you are, the you that is listening to this now, that is a thing that is happening. You are hearing a voice that somebody projected out of their mouth. That is reality. We know that. And plenty of evidence for that. We don't need to question that. We don't need to prove that. No, well, we could prove it, but we don't really need to because we have got ample evidence that it's a thing that exists. That's the sort of evidence I'm talking about. You know, I'm a simple guy. Just give me what you got. But he's not going to do that. We know he's not going to do that. We've seen this before. We know where this conversation is going. I ask a simple question. You don't give me the answer. Here we go. That's not a definition. I know, but I hated this so much I downvoted it. When you're ready to give me your definition of evidence, maybe we can get somewhere. Oh, okay, well. This guy stepped in. Unknown practitioner 1, 2, 3. Empirical evidence. And no, you don't have any. Pwned! Oh, you're pwned now. Oh! Unknown practitioner 123 has pwned you in your pwning face. You're dead now. Yes. If you'll excuse my insanity and hyperbolicness, I listened to Dave Chappelle, and I think now he is absorbed into me, and I am projecting Dave Chappelle-ness. So that is what's going on. If I'm funny, it's because Dave Chappelle. If not, blame Matt Slick. For those of you deep in the deconverted man lore, you'll understand blaming Matt Slick. And for the rest of you, don't worry about it. It only matters to those who know, and me explaining it didn't help anything. It's just wasted time. Anyways, I said repeatable tests, empirical evidence. What you got? See, I put repeatable tests. Remember that, because that's never going to come back up again. Or will it? Well, it will, but we'll get to it. But remember that that's something I included. Repeatable tests. You know, I want to be able to test something repeatedly. You know, I can be on the computer and I'll be like, what happens if I press F5? It refreshes the page. Oh, does it do it again? Yes, it does. Every time I hit F5, the page gets refreshed. If you press F5 right now, this whole thing reloads, and you might lose your spot. That's what's going to happen. Almost guaranteed. F11 will make your screen full screen almost every time. I don't know what F12 does. Don't push it. It might blow things up. I'm not sure. Now you're wondering, probably, hey, what's F12 do? You hit it at your own peril, because I don't know what it does. I can tell you what Control F4 does. It will close everything out. If you do Control F4, this window will disappear. You won't know what you were doing. Control Alt Delete usually brings up the task menu, but if you're not using Windows, I don't know what it will do. So there's things that I can test, and I can repeatedly test them. What about a fan? I got a fan over here. I turn on the fan, it suddenly gets cooler. Oh, that's kind of neat. Let's try that again. Hey, look, the same thing happened. Amazing. Now, I can do that with my light bulb over here. I've got a light bulb over here. It's a little light in my, that produces light from the light bulb. And if I touch the light bulb, it's warm. And every single time I touch it, if it's on, it's warm. It's amazing. It's repeatedly testable. Hey, I wonder if that light bulb is warm. Is it on? It's probably going to be warm. Oh my God, it's warm. Every time. Can I do a test like that? No. Well, I don't know. We'll never get back to this repeatable test idea because he's going to stick on the empirical evidence part. Now, what did I ask for? I asked for empirical evidence, right? Well, I asked for evidence, and I said the same sort of evidence as everything else, which by, I guess I kind of mean empirical evidence, but I might not. To be fair, I might not, but sure, empirical evidence would be great. Now it's a simple question of, do you have this? Yes or no? It's not that I'm saying that all there is for anything is empirical evidence, because remember, I asked for repeatable tests as well. So your response shouldn't be, how dare you ask for empirical evidence? Your response should be, yes, I've got empirical evidence, or no, I don't. Or I don't know that I have it or not. That's a good question. I have no idea. Let me research it and get it back to you. At which point, I'll never hear from them again. But no, none of that happens because we're going on the ride of apologists. Here we go. Okay. So, empirical evidence is the only kind of evidence for things that exist? Oh, where did he get this idea? Did I say that? Did the other guy say that? No. Nobody said that. Nobody suggested that. That was not a thing that we said. We just asked if you have it. That's all. Do you have this thing? It's like you went to a store and you're like, do you have milk? And they're like, milk? Is milk used for everything? Do you use milk when you, ice cream? Wait, that's a bad example. Okay, do you use milk to water your plants? No, you don't. Okay, do you have milk, though? Do you use milk to mow your lawn? What? That's just... Do you guys got milk or not? Do you use milk for everything? Do you use milk to fuel up your car? Well, sir, what kind of stupid question is that then? It's like, oh, here you are on the aisle of tape where we've got tape. Look at all this tape that we have. Oh yeah, we've got measuring stuff. You are at the Home Depot, sir. Yeah, I know that, but I was just wondering, like, sometimes they have little, drinks at the front, Mountain Dew, Sprite, Pepsi, Cola, whatever, and sometimes they have little bottles of milk. So I was just like, do you got those? Sir, this is a Home Depot. We've got wood. See that wood right there? Yeah, I know. But I was like, do you have milk, though? What kind of question is that? Do you use milk for everything? Do you use milk to produce that wood? I don't think so, sir. You're going to have to leave the store. As I leave, I see there's milk in the thing. I was like, there it is! Well, whatever. I didn't know because you didn't answer the question, right? Anyways, back to this. So he has introduced a thing that I never said. Oh, well, and I hate that YouTube is doing this, by the way. It's doing the @ so we don't know who it's talking about anymore. When I hit respond, it just says @ It doesn't even say their name anymore. Their system is so fucking broken. And, whatever. Anyways, can you give me empirical evidence? Here we go. Repeatable evidence. Empirical repeatable evidence. The fuck? Empirical repeatable evidence. You mean empirical evidence / repeatable test is what you meant to say, but that you exist and are not merely a computer program. Well, sir, I never suggested that I exist. I never made the claim that I do, in fact, exist. I never made the claim that I'm a computer program. I never made any claim of that. Asking this question is wholly irrelevant to my question of if you have empirical evidence or not. As such, you are burden switching at this point, and you are topic switching. This is not the topic that we're talking about, and you know it. Oh well, we're on the ride. We can't stop now. Oh look, now YouTube decided to play along again. He said, an unknown practitioner 123 again, Ponan coming in as my wingman. Straw man, of course. It's not the only form of evidence to exist. Exactly. We didn't suggest that it was, did we? However, it's the strongest form of evidence. The only form of evidence is valid when aiming to understand the workings of the universe, as well as the interactions that occur within the physical universe. Yes, I agree. Pretty much. I mean, again, maybe you're dealing with mathematical concepts, and that's a little bit more abstract. But still, yeah, sure. Now, he brings in the Bible. I don't know about his Bible. I don't know. I didn't watch him a video. But he is assuming that this guy has a Bible. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Your Bible claims God created the universe. Might not, to be fair. We don't know what this guy's beliefs are. We don't know if he has a Bible or not. Okay. There should therefore be empirical evidence to support this. And he goes on to say other stuff. But it's not me. And so, therefore, I don't care anymore. I read enough. And but yeah, he's what evidence do you have for that isn't just hearsay or testimonies from 2,000 years ago? Well, less than 2,000 years ago, but whatever. Good enough. I said rewrite what I wrote. You could also have a repeatable test where you think there is. Then later I was like, wait a minute. The burden of you is on you to prove I am a computer program. See, by suggesting I'm a computer program, you now have the burden of proof to show I'm a computer program. If you want me to prove that I am real, why should I do that? Prove I'm not real. If you think that I'm a computer program, great. Prove I'm a computer program. Anyways, but there would be empirical evidence and repeatable tests for that, don't you think? Yeah, there would be. There's empirical evidence to prove I'm real, and there's empirical evidence to show that I'm a computer program. Both of those would be repeatably testable. Both of those would be verifiable in any number of ways. All of those things are empirically investigatable and empirically provable, and repeatedly so. The idea that I'm real, hey, look, here I am. See? Oh, wait, I don't have my camera on. Well, I'm a computer program right now, so I don't feel like turning on my camera. But I've put my camera on other videos, so you can see me there being real, right? Okay. Is that like, now you're going to have to be like, oh, but that could be CGI. Yeah, it could be, but now you need proof to show that it is. It's very normal, mundane, ordinary to expect it to be a human that you're interacting with at this point and not a computer program. So, sir, this is asking if there's empirical evidence for something that there's empirical evidence for. Yes, there's plenty of empirical evidence that I exist. If you see me, that's all you need. That's empirical evidence. Hearing me, that's empirical evidence of some sort. Because it's not just seeing, it's not just visual, but it's also things that are empirical in and of themselves. And that means they are a picture of what's going on. So, we can see magnetic fields by adding in iron fillings on top of a magnet with some paper on top of the magnet. Magnet, paper, iron fillings, you'll see the magnetic fields. That's empirical evidence that there's something going on that we call a magnetic field. And so empirical evidence also includes, auditory evidence. Sure. That would be something. A video of it. That's something, that's all the same category as far as I'm concerned. So yes, if you're asking me, do I have evidence that I exist? Yes, I do. And yes, it's empirical. And yes, it's repeatably testable in all sorts of ways. If you want to believe I'm a computer program, that's your burden to uphold. You need to prove that. That requires proof because that's the extraordinary claim. That's the non-mundane claim. Now, we've got computer programs that are pretty sophisticated. ChatGPT does a pretty good job, but you'd have to demonstrate that that's what's going on. But really, you don't have any reasons to think that that's what's going on. You don't want to answer the question. That's what's really going on. You have yet to answer my question. These irrelevant questions that you have about other topics don't matter. I asked if you have this thing. Do you have empirical evidence? Do you have repeatable tests? I started out with just evidence. You wanted to know what it was. I told you what it was. Now you're fighting me on that. Why? Because you don't want to answer the question. That's what it seems like to me. You're being sneaky. Answer the question. Anyway, as I said so far, you've dodged the problem in full. It's not surprising since I think I can't even read what I wrote. Let me try again. Only professionalism in this YouTube studio. In full, it's not surprising since I think, wow, I did it again. I can't read what I wrote. I do not think you have evidence for the idea. We'll pretend I said it that way the first time. You only have arguments that are broken in terms of logic and or science. So, as I said, what you got? Answer faith. Yeah, I'm poning him now. I'm backing him into the corner. Here we go. Let's see what his amazing comeback is. There's nothing straw man about a question. Yes, there is. Yes, a question can indeed be a straw man. The straw man is a weaker version of the argument. So when you present a weaker version of the argument, even if it's in question format, you've created a straw man, sir. So you just need to respond as whether it were a form of evidence or not. What? Huh? What are you talking about? Yes, it's a form of evidence. Empirical evidence is a form of evidence. It's visualizing a thing is indeed evidence. You asked us what type of evidence we wanted. We told you what type of evidence we wanted. You're not giving us that evidence. So just say I don't have what you want. Just say that. Why not just say that? Why all this dancing around? Why all this dodging around? I don't want to answer the question. No. Also, who determines it's the strongest form of evidence? Empiricists? Why? Okay. Yeah, the other guy said that it's the strongest form of evidence. I don't know how you categorize that, but whatever. Who cares? That's not the thing to go after right now. But whatever. The workings of the universe can also very well be understood by many forms of evidence. Like what? I wonder. And in fact, it depends on what question you're asking. Okay. Now notice how he's not yet answered the question. Not all questions are best answered using empirical evidence, for example. The one I just asked in the message above. Oh, you mean that do I exist? Yes, there's plenty of empirical evidence that I exist. So what's your point? Though there shouldn't necessarily be empirical evidence for God creating the universe. Oh, really? That's interesting. Why do you think this? So then your answer could have just been no. When I asked if you have empirical evidence for your idea of God, you simply should say no. Well, in this case, it's creating the universe, which is a different question. You know, do you have empirical evidence that God created the universe? That's a different question from do you have empirical evidence for your idea of God? By the way I asked that question, there is a problem with the way I asked the question, but he hasn't identified the problem. Just pointing it out. Asking somebody for empirical evidence of an idea is kind of a weird way to word that. But we kind of know what you mean. We should. It's like I'm asking you not to prove empirically that you have an idea, although you could do that. I'm asking you about the idea that you hold in question, which in this case is God. You have a specific idea of what God is and how God works, etc. That's a particular version of God. So do you have empirical evidence of that thing, other than it just being an idea? Certainly you have the idea, and, that's great. But do you have evidence that it's more than just an idea? That's what I'm asking. Nitty went and watched one of their videos. Oh, good. Well, I haven't even watched this video yet, so I don't know. But I'm just responding to the comment because this is where we're at. Yeah. Anyways, let's see. They gave the worst response to the fruit in the garden being sex. Oh, it's almost like you can't read the Bible. The fruit in the garden is sex? Okay, I'll have to check that out. That's great. Oh, anyways, back to this. All right. So there shouldn't necessarily be empirical evidence for God creating the universe. I don't know why he thinks that is. Why shouldn't there necessarily be? Like, I don't know. Where's this necessarily come from? But if he doesn't think that's the case, fine. Then say there isn't any. Okay, cool. But that's not what I asked. I asked for this. I asked for empirical evidence of that. If you don't have it, just say you don't have it. Why all this dancing around? Why all this fancy footwork to avoid answering the question? You don't want to answer the question, and instead you want to say, well, but it's not fair. We don't have empirical evidence for this, that, the other thing. Doesn't matter. Even if that was true, doesn't matter. I'm asking if you have it. Again, let's go back to Home Depot in our mind's eye. And we ask for milk. Whether or not it makes sense to do it. Imagine that the worker doesn't answer your question yes or no. Now, it's fair. Maybe they say, I don't know. Let me ask somebody. Call. We got milk. Yeah, we got milk. It's at the cash register. Or you you ever go to Walmart and you're like, hey, I just was lately I had to get a new monitor. I was like, where do you have monitors? He's like, yeah, over there. I was like he pointed. I'm like, well, there's a big section over there. I went over there. I'm like, I don't know where the hell this thing is. I'm like, can you around the corner of that? I was like, okay. And he finally goes, here they are, and he showed me where they are. See, it's like the hardest thing in the world for him to do, Meanwhile, this other place I went, they were like, oh, Oh, it was IGA store, food store. I'm like, where's this thing? And the gal took me right to the thing. She's like, right this way. She was all cheerful. It's a big store. I was like, wow. And this other guy was like, oh, yes, it's over this way, sir. Yeah, here you go. Here's the sushi. Yay. I was like, wow, thank you. Led me to it. They were happy to work there, or at least they seemed to be. So I don't know what's going on, the difference between IGA's payment system and Walmart's payment system, or the way that they train or treat their employees, but it's night and day. It must be because the employees act like they want to be there. And in one store, IGA, in the other store, they don't. But my point is, at least he gave me an answer. It sucked, but at least he gave me an answer. It's over there. So in other words, they have it, right? Or they'll be like, if we have it, it's in aisle 5, or I think, might be 6 or 8. I don't know. But at least they're giving an answer, right? This guy hasn't even answered the question. He hasn't said, no, we don't have it. Thanks for asking. We don't have any test. We don't have this thing. Sorry, we don't have it. It does no good to say, well, but it doesn't apply here or here or here, even if that's true. I feel like I'm listening to a politician. It's like, answer the fucking question. Come on. Anyways. All right. Nitty. It's so dumb, the video thing. Yeah. Cosmology and teleological argument out the window. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Anyways. I think you are committing a category error. Or falling prey to the so-called philosophical hard problem. For example, you can't ask someone to measure the temperature with a barometer. Man, temperature is one of those things that, can be repeatedly tested and empirically verifiable. Just saying. It's the wrong tool to use. Similarly, you can't ask someone to prove the existence of a metaphysical entity using the empirical method. Here we go. Okay. So, whether or not it is, in fact, a category error, we don't know. Because we don't know what your idea of God is. See, that's the thing. I started out with the question, do you have this? The answer is a complicated answer. It wasn't a straightforward yes or no. It was a no, I do not have it because I believe that my version of God is not a thing to which there is empirical evidence for. It is a metaphysical entity that doesn't have empirical evidence by nature of being a metaphysical entity. Okay, cool. Then I move on. At least you gave me an answer. No. Or you could just shorten that to no. We don't have empirical evidence for this. Or I don't have empirical evidence for it. Because I believe that it is a thing that doesn't have empirical evidence. Okay, cool. You can make the answer just no. You can flesh it out more. But just answer the dang question. Because it makes you look like you're hiding something when you're like, oh, it's like, what do you, just say no. Just say the answer. Stop playing this game. You don't need to play this game. Just be honest in the first place. I ask you a question, give me the answer. Okay, that's it. Do you have empirical evidence for your idea of God? No. Because I believe that God is the following thing, and I have no empirical evidence for it because the thing that I believe it is has no empirical evidence for that thing. Okay, cool. Great. Do you have a repeatable test for any of that? No, I don't, because again, I believe that my idea of God is a thing that also has no repeatable test that you can perform on it. Cool. How do you know it's any of those things? Well, I have this broken argument. Okay, cool. Well, then I was right when I suggested that all you have is a broken argument. But you didn't have those other things. Yes. Okay, cool. Maybe you can fix your argument then. Nope, can't do that. We never got to the broken argument part. Anyways, you can only draw associations to said entity or even argue for it purely using reason. You can't use reason in this case. Well, we'll get to that. Actually, again, we didn't really ever get to the broken argument part, but we're kind of talking about the broken argument part. Remember earlier I said, is all you have is broken arguments? Yes, all he has are broken arguments. And this is part of the problem. He doesn't want to admit that all he has is the argument. Now, he doesn't think it's broken, to be fair. But he's now going back to the arguments that he thinks he has. So just say, no, I don't have evidence. All I have is the argument. Anyways, I would even argue that reason is the highest form of evidence that we have ever come across. Reason is not evidence. Reason is a thing that we use. So that's a category error. Oops. Oh, well, whatever. It's ridiculous to ask for empirical evidence for a historical event. No, it's not. Absolutely, it's not. Because you have artifacts that can indicate whether or not people were even in that location in the first place. So it's absolutely not. There's definitely empirical things to investigate in history. But what is history? What is it? This is a serious question. Skeptically Pissed. Now that's a great name. Hi, chat and host. Hi, Skeptically Pissed. Are you pissed about being skeptical, or are you? I'm skeptically pissed. Yeah, SP. Woohoo! I don't know. It's a cool name. Good name. Good job. I like being skeptical. I sometimes say I'm a jaded skeptic. Not really that jaded. I don't even know what jaded really means. I kind of like that. I'm a pissed off skeptic. Yeah. So, it makes you think. It's like you go to the bathroom, you're like, I'm skeptical that I'm peeing right now. Is that what that means? I don't know. It's like I hold the idea that piss is even a thing in my head, and I'm not sure if it exists or not. The idea that I'm pissed is something I am being skeptical of currently. Are you mad? I don't know. I'll get back to you when I have more data. Anyways, I can make a whole video about this. Now, all right. What was I? See, Skeptically Pissed got me off my tangent about complaining. It's all your fault. Sorry. Oh, historical event. Right. Okay, historical. So, okay, yesterday is historical, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Would a historian view yesterday as historical, or does it have to be like, 10 years in the past, 20? What makes it historical, right? And if we're going down this insane rabbit hole, let's go down the rabbit hole, shall we? Yesterday is history. It is. And tomorrow is the future. That's why we call it the present. Whatever the fucking thing is. Oh, got him, SP. Yeah, B.S. Lewis. Got him. Yep. All right. Got him. These nuts. All right. Anyways, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your Wi-Fi. It was a dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. Your neighbor every day. Sorry. All right. What was I saying? Oh, history. Right. Yesterday is the history, right? So if I say, I ate dinner last night, well, that's a claim about yesterday. It's a claim about history. Do you have empirical evidence? Sure. To some extent, I do. But maybe I don't. Okay, cool. So, hey, Deacon Man, you said you ate dinner yesterday. Can you prove it? No, can't prove it. Cannot prove it. I cannot think of a way to prove it. Maybe I could if I thought about it hard enough. If I'd prepared for it, I could have proved it. But I didn't know that this question was coming up, so no, I don't. I don't have proof. But tell you what, I can weigh myself right now, and I can record the weighing of myself and show you how much I weigh, and put that on video and put that up. And then after I eat, I don't know. I should gain some amount of pounds from eating. Maybe the scale better be a really good scale, but it should show some sort of difference, I would think. I don't know how scales work, to be honest. But then I'll record that. You know what? Forget that. How about I just record myself eating? Then you can see that I ate. I'll include the scale information just in case. And I'll record what time it is. And it will be on YouTube Live as I eat, so that you can see that I ate dinner. And then the next day I could say, hey, look, yesterday I ate dinner. See? There's a recording of it. But if I didn't know that I needed to prove that, then no, I don't have evidence that I ate dinner last night. And you're free to be skeptical about it.
because I don't have evidence of it. But I would say it's kind of a normal claim. It's pretty much a boring, mundane claim, ordinary, everyday claim. People eat food. That happens. There's no harm, no foul in assuming that I'm telling the truth about that. This is what's called the social contract. We provide us each other with this social contract of I assume that you're telling the truth, Captain. Captive Desk says, "Hi, deconverted man." Well, he says hi, DM, but that means me. Hi, CD. Let's go. Wait. I'm pissed to have to deal with religious nutters and their ridiculous arguments and have them show how to be skeptical and a critical thinker. Oh, then have to show them. Yeah, I know. Man, join the club. Anyways, I'm not pissed. I'm glad to do logic. I love doing it. It doesn't irritate me. Sometimes it does. Depends. Anyways, in other words, so there might be evidence of history, right? Okay, and there might not be. If it's a normal thing, somebody ate dinner. Okay, we're not going to question that. We're not going to really need evidence of that. Okay. Um, Joseph Smith existed. No, not a problem. Don't have any problem believing that. Joseph Smith uh, committed a number of petty crimes. Absolutely, sure. Joseph Smith found a cave. Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree. He went into the cave. Okay, I believe that. And inside the cave, he saw golden tablets. He did what now? Yeah, and the golden tablets had writing on it, and an angel appeared. A what appeared? And it told him how to read the tablets. It did? What? Huh? And then he came out of the cave. Okay. I'm sure he did come out of the cave. And he told somebody about these golden tablets. Where's the cave at? I can't show you where the cave's at. Come on, show me where the cave's at. It's over here. Oh, okay. Can I go in the cave? Yeah, I guess. But there's one thing I have to tell you. What's that? Well, after the angel told me how to decipher these golden tablets, he grabbed the tablets and beamed back up into heaven with the tablets. So they're not in there anymore. Okay, well, you know what, Joseph Smith? I believe that you went into this cave, and I believe that you saw golden tablets and an angel, but I don't believe that there's an angel or golden tablets because I have no reason to believe that those are things. Now, golden tablets are things that exist, but since they're not here, I don't believe that they were here, and there's no evidence that they were here. That is a mystery, magical claim. You are claiming something that I cannot verify. These things were here, but they're gone now. They were taken away by an entity that I also have no proof of. Aliens kidnapped my cow. Well, that's interesting. Your cow's gone, sure. Aliens? No proof that those are things yet. They might be, but I don't know. I'm going to look for mundane answers to your problem. Looks like your neighbor took them. Okay. But it was aliens. No, it wasn't. It was your neighbor. No. I want it to be aliens. Okay, I guess it was your aliens took over my neighbor's brain. Okay, whatever, man. Whatever you got to do. I listened to this podcast called Time Suck. Good podcast. Shout out to Time Suck. I did my own episode of them called Nut Suck. Watch that. Plug out for me. Anyways, and he talked about this guy that kept fighting World War II after it was over. He believed that the war wasn't over. He kept going. Uh, he had two people with him, and they both died from getting shot by people they were shooting at. And like, no matter what they did, he just kept believing harder that that the war was still going on until they finally, a guy found him and got his superior to tell him that the war was over. It was, or to give him orders to stand down. At any rate, I think they should have just told he couldn't believe it because Japan can't lose. Maybe they should have told him Japan won the war and the war is over instead of trying to tell him the war was over and Japan lost. I don't know, but at any rate, the cognitive dissonance and sunk cost fallacy are something that humans have. And here's an example of it. This guy is one of many. There's actually other people that still fought after World War II was over as well. So he's just one particular guy. He has a whole book on it, or had a whole book on it. Still around, the book. He's not around. But that we can believe something so strongly that no matter what evidence comes our way, that we'll say, no. Right? That's a thing. That's a thing that can happen. They were being very careful with how they handled him. They didn't want to get shot at, obviously. But due to technology limitations, or maybe limitations in their way of thinking, they didn't provide him with enough empirical evidence, or maybe the empirical evidence didn't matter. But he had it. He had a radio. He listened to stuff. He just rationalized what he was listening to in his own mind. And when he wrote about it, he wrote very honestly about what he was thinking at the time. It's like, no, like when they said they misspelled this, or they used this word instead of that word, so it's got to be a trap by the enemy, but he had the evidence. It's not like they didn't give it to him. Imagine if they said, oh, we're not going to give you that evidence because you don't have that sort of evidence for this or that or the other thing. The fact that he resisted the empirical evidence doesn't negate the empirical evidence. I'm bringing that up because that is history. That guy did exist. He did do those things. There's ample reasons to believe he did those things. And what isn't present in that story is, and then he flew up into the sky like Superman, and he winked at us. And he winked at the invisible camera that is us, right? And then he flew back down, and he continued to fight his war. Now, that part of the story, if it wasn't in the story, I would have to be like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, he was fighting this war. He kept fighting, even though, everybody was done. Everybody kept telling him, hey, it's done, man. It's over. Cut it out. Stop shooting people. Because he'd been trained. You don't fight. You don't give up. You don't surrender. Let's just keep going until we tell you to stop. But you offer the empirical evidence when you have it. And when you don't have it, okay, you don't have it. Why don't you have it? In the case of my dinner being eaten last night, I don't have it because I didn't know you were going to ask me to prove it. I didn't think you would. Why would you? Why would I? Why would you be skeptical of it? It's a normal claim. Now, if I said I had dinner with the President of the United States last night, I better provide some darn evidence for that, because that's not a normal claim. And if I said, but it's possible, sure, you could grant me the innocence of it and say, okay, sure, you did. Whatever. You don't have to be skeptical of it if you don't want to be. You could be. You don't have to be. But it's a bit extraordinary. Maybe you're going to want proof. But if I said, I ate dinner with a demon last night, I've never seen a demon anywhere, ever. I don't know what a demon. How would you know what is a demon? What indication? What is a demon? I don't know. We have no evidence of a demon thing. So yes, I'm going to be skeptical about that. And if you put that, write it down, or you video record yourself talking about it, or whatever it is, the fact that I don't have evidence that there is even a demon makes me have to not believe that story. Now, that doesn't mean I believe the story is false either, because I'm willing to suspend my judgment and be skeptical of the idea until I have data one way or the other. And you're telling me I can't get data for it. You're telling me that the sort of thing that a demon is doesn't have any data. There's no way to prove that it exists because of the thing that it is. But I saw it. I ate dinner with a demon last night. That's what happened. Well, how do you prove that? If you didn't take a video of it, if you didn't photograph it, if you didn't audio record it, if you did nothing, then there's probably no way to prove it. We've never encountered that in reality. We have no example of demons. If we did, cool. We know what it was. Or leprechauns. Let's use leprechauns. More fun, you know. I caught a leprechaun and it gave me gold. Do you have the gold? Yeah, here's the gold. Now that's something. At least that's something. Not enough for me to convince me there's a leprechaun, but at least you have gold. We can date the gold. We can test the gold. We can see what we can check to see if gold was stolen from somewhere or if gold went missing. It's in this pot, this iron pot. We can test that. But if you don't have the gold, you just have a story. Why should I believe you? I don't have any evidence of leprechauns. Yes, gold exists, but because you said leprechaun, I have to doubt your story. Even if you tell me today, and it's not history, you said it happened today, I'd have to doubt that. So when you're talking about history, the things in history that we can grant are normal, ordinary things. Somebody had a war. Somebody overthrew some other empire. Somebody had slaves. Somebody was a slave. Whatever. Normal stuff. Ordinary things. But what we must be skeptical about in history is any single time anybody says that something happened that we label as magical or supernatural. Why? Because we don't have any evidence. We don't have any evidence that those things are things. We don't even know how we would discover that those things were things. If there was magic, if there was the supernatural, how would we know that we had seen it? What is our methodology to discover the event is in fact a miracle? So plane crashes and one person survives. People like to call that a miracle. Okay, well, all right. It's unusual, but it happens. But what makes it a miracle? People say it can't be explained. Well, how do you know it can't be explained? Well, we've run out of explanations. That doesn't mean that it can't be explained. It just means we don't know how to explain it. So where's the leap off point from we ran out of ideas to it must be a miracle? I don't know. But without that methodology, then I can't even label something as miraculous or magical or whatever the word is, or supernatural. So when you're talking about history and you're talking about the claims about your deities, in this case, Jesus, I'm fine with believing that Jesus existed. I don't, but that's me. I have problems. But I don't because of all the magic associated with it. But set that aside. I'll grant that Jesus existed. I'll grant that he talked to people and that people talked to him and that he did things here and there. But when he gets to the point where he's like, I'm going to cure this blind guy, I'm going to be like, I don't know about that. I think that's a trick. I think he hired somebody to pretend that he was blind so that he could then heal that pretend blind person. Same thing for the deaf guy. Well, how did he pull off the water to wine trick? Well, I'm not sure about that one. But magicians have done things like that, so maybe he's very clever. And he knew there was a party, going on, a wedding going on, and he had wine ready, and he somehow switched it out without them knowing, so that he could then do this miracle. I don't know. That's more plausible than him actually doing it. And you can explain most of the. Now, what about when he climbed on top of the roof and he went down into the guy's room and brought this dude back to life from the dead. Well, if everybody's surrounding the house and nobody is in the house, and they help him climb on top of the roof and they lower him in, and it's only him and this guy, maybe the guy's faking it. Maybe the guy's in on it. Maybe everyone's surrounding it so that nobody can come inside and see what's going on. So maybe Lazarus never died in the first place. And so when he brought him back, he didn't actually bring him back. It's just a performance. Okay, well, I've explained that away. And I get to the part that maybe I can't explain. Well, he dies on the cross. Everybody sees this. And unusually, they allow his body to be put in a tomb. Okay, sure. And they suspect, for some reason, that his followers will steal the body. I don't know why they suspect this, but they do. And they put a guard or two around this. Now, guards famously cannot be bribed. Yeah, no guard ever has been bribed any point in history. It's never happened, right? Oh, wait, no, that's wrong. No, guards can be bribed. So couldn't somebody bribe these guards, give them enough money to, hey, even if there's a stone in front, hey, we got some people here, we're going to move the stone. We're going to take this body and we're going to put it somewhere else. And then we're going to claim that he came back to life. Okay, we don't care. Give us the money. We don't care what you do. We're gonna also knock you out. Okay, all right. Yeah. That way you guys don't get in trouble. And for enough money, sure, why not? There you go. I explained it away. It was a mundane thing. And why would they lie about? Why not? Well, they died for that lie. Sure they did. Why not? Why wouldn't they? Why admit a lie? You've already sunk your thing into it. You might as well go out lying. People die for lies that they know are lies. It happens. So, in regards to the historical claims that you think cannot be empirically investigated, to some extent, I agree. These things might not be empirically investigatable, but there is plenty of reasons to think that they didn't happen in the first place. And if you want to believe that they did, that's on you. But your answer is no, you don't have empirical evidence for those things. I didn't ask about that, though. I asked about your idea of God. That was a long thing. All right, anyways, Jesus' miracles. Like, how would you provide empirical evidence that I ate rice and bread 5 weeks ago? Oh, hey, I just said that thing, didn't I? Dude, can't you see how weird this is? Dude, can't you see how wrong you are? I think your problem is assuming that it's either empirical evidence or nothing. No, we didn't say that, did we? Did we ever say that? Nope. We asked for it. That's all. We want to know if you have it. You don't. All you had to do is say no. You didn't do that. Starting with understanding what evidence is, we do. We ask for empirical evidence for a repeatable test. You don't have that. Say you don't have that. Then proceed with steel manning what evidence exists for biblical claims. I didn't ask about the Bible. Like is Jesus' historical existence. Then we could proceed with this conversation. Want to stick with empiricism, you're talking to the wrong person. Okay, you could have said that too. At the very start, you say, no, there isn't empirical evidence, end of story. Okay. So you can't prove that you exist with your own method, he asks of me? Yeah, I can, but it's nothing to do with my proving anything has nothing to do with your burden of proof. My question was, do you have this evidence? In fact, my first question was, do you have evidence? Not an argument, but evidence. And at that point, you should have said, no, all you have is an argument, because that's all you have is an argument. You don't have evidence. If you think you have evidence, cool, then present that evidence. But he wanted to know what I meant by evidence. So then when I told him what I meant by evidence, he still didn't answer the question. And so we're stuck because he doesn't answer the question that is asked. Why? I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't answer the question.
You can only draw associations to said entity or wait, I think I read that part. Oh, I didn't say that. And also, I didn't claim that I exist. Clearly, you do not know or don't care about the burden of proof. And you don't care about switching the burden of proof. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he switched the burden of proof, by the way, by asking me for evidence that I'm real as opposed to a computer program. That's also, by the way, a straw man and not on topic, so it's completely irrelevant. I asked for evidence of your claim, and time and again you haven't given it. One must conclude you don't have it to give. Why wouldn't you just say that outright? It's beyond me. So you have no empirical evidence for your idea of God. One must assume, because he's not just saying that outright. He hasn't said that outright. I don't know why, but he hasn't. Do you have a repeatable test for God? And I'm just going to make a live video about this stuff. I don't have any burden to prove that you are a computer because I didn't claim you were. Hey guys in chat, people in chat, I see you. I know you're there. Nitty, Skeptically Pissed, Captain Death, BS Lewis, whoever, any of you, all of you, please, right now, let me know if he claimed that I was a computer by his question. Let me know. What do you think? Does he have the burden of proof to prove I'm a computer? Let's go back. Let's see. Let's see. Where was it? Can you give empirical, repeatable evidence that you exist or not merely a computer program? Is this a burden he holds now? Does he now need to prove that I'm a computer program? By asking that question, is that his burden of proof to prove I'm a computer program? You let me know. Nobody in chat's playing along. All right, we'll come back to that later. Let me know if you think that this is a burden of proof that he has gained by asking this question. I think so, but whatever. Who cares at this point, right? Where am I? He says he didn't have any burden of proof your computer because it didn't claim you were. Yes, you did. By asking the question, you did. When you ask a question, it includes premises in the question. That's why we have loaded question fallacy. Okay. So your question is, can I prove this? That is suggesting that I am not the thing and that I have to prove it, which would be burden switching. If you think I am that thing, then you have to prove that I'm that thing. But yes, I do have empirical evidence that I exist. So whatever, man. But you're not answering the question. It seems though you missed my attempts at appealing to the query of proof. I don't care. Either you have it or you don't. Just answer the question. The point that you missed was not everything could be proven using empiricism. I never said that everything could be. I just asked if you had it. All you had to do was say no. Even the claim everything can be demonstrated using empiricism is a claim assumption that can be proven using empiricism. Cool. I never made that claim. Go back to the drawing board, rephrase the question, ask it most sensible, well thought out manner. Then we can continue the chat. I did. This is a pretty reasonable, well thought out manner. Do you have evidence for this? Or is it just an argument? You only have an argument. You don't seem to have any evidence at all. There's no evidence at any point. You didn't mention. You said you said historical. I guess, but instead of just answering my question, you want to know what I think evidence is. When I tell you what evidence I would accept, you disagree with that and you don't like that. Too bad. Do you have it or not? Yes or no? You don't. I don't know why you just don't just say I don't have it. Just say it. Why is that so hard? Like I said before, the answer was faith. You don't have evidence. Great. What do you got? Arguments? Fine. but you don't have evidence. And I said, well, I don't know what happened to my response, but I said I'll make a video about it. He said, I'll be good enough to steelman the classical theist POV because that's the position I'm more inclined towards. Now I'm reading your comments and responding to them in this video. I told you that. So I don't know what your position is. I don't care. I'm not going to steelman it for you. Your burden is to make the best argument that you can. I don't need to steelman diddly or squat. You don't even know what steelmanning is, I bet. So it doesn't matter. I say this will make it in the video. It will be based upon everything you wrote. Okay, so that's it. Okay. So I didn't even watch the video. I have no idea what the video is about. Nobody has a solution to hard sophilism, and you can't argue something into existence. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But we don't even run into the hard sophilism. I'm not that. I'm like, look, do you have evidence? What do you mean by evidence? Like, I mean, what do you mean? What do I mean? Everything that, whatever, well, what do you mean? Okay, fine. Empirical evidence, repeatable test. Oh, well, you don't have that for everything. Do you have it? Yes or no? Oh, because, do you have milk? Yes or no? Well, you can't use milk, It's just answer the freaking question. It has to look, don't you think it looks a little disingenuous, a little dishonest to go about it this way? I really do. It feels that way to me. I did encounter a guy that wanted to argue for the sake of arguing. And I told him straight up that he was a troll. I said, you don't even know what logic is. You're not using it. You're just continuously asking things in a way that you think will produce a victory for you, and I just let them have it. Maybe I'll read those comments some other time. Anyways, distraction, tangent, don't worry about it. Whatever. So, his idea of God, what do I know about it? Not a lot. Something to do with Jesus, I guess. I don't know what else his idea of God even is. I have to assume, because he didn't just say outright, that he doesn't have empirical evidence for it. I have to guess and speculate that he has no repeatable test for it, because, again, he didn't just say that outright. But if he had those things, then he would have offered those things. If, when I said, do you have evidence, he could have just said, here's the evidence I have. Boom, 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 boom. Don't worry about what kind of evidence I accept or not. Just give me what you got. Give me the best thing that you have. And if you're not able or willing to do that, then we don't even have an argument, because we don't have evidence. So we can't make it. How do you make an argument without evidence? Like Skeptical Epist said, you can't argue something into existence. Right? You can't go to the bank and argue your way into withdrawing $10,000. Good luck. You're probably going to get arrested, though. I'm not going to give you my credit card or my debit card. I'm not going to prove I have an account. But here's a really interesting argument on why asking me for empirical evidence is invalid. See how far that goes. I don't think that they're going to help you. I think they're going to ask you to leave. I think that they will call the police on you when you don't leave, because you're trying to get money from them that you can't prove that you have. How dare you ask me for empirical evidence of my debit card and my account info? You can't use that on everything. It's a category error. What are you talking about, sir? Put your debit card into the thing. I don't need to do that. Well, can you give me your ID? No! Just give me the $10,000. Are you robbing us? Give me $10,000. How dare you ask me if I'm robbing you? Do you use robbing to prove everything? Just answer the question. We don't do this with anything else, though, do we? It's this metaphorical, supernatural, metaphysical thing, right? Okay, cool. So you don't have evidence. Just say that. Okay, fine. If you don't have it, you don't have it. If you have it, then give it. I don't know. It's weird. It's wild. Yes, I have plenty of evidence that I exist, by the way. Not that I made a claim that I exist. I don't know why I would need to make that claim. I think it's kind of self-evident. And it's self-evident to me that this guy exists and Skeptically Pissed exists. I don't know what they look like. I don't know if they're a guy, girl, robot. No idea. They exist at some level because they're writing stuff. Chances are it's a guy, from somewhere from late 20s to early 50s. He's probably white. He probably is straight, and he's definitely a skeptic, and he's irritated. Why? How do I know any of that? Well, I don't, but I can make, some guesses based on, the other people that tend to watch videos like this and large population demographics and how YouTube works and etc. Those are pretty good guesses. It's a pretty wide range of things. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a girl. Maybe it's that Japanese girl I've been looking for all this time. And she will be rich and want to marry me instantly because of how amazing I am at doing YouTube. Look, it's my fantasy. Don't ruin it, Skeptically Pissed. You are now a Japanese girl that will marry me. Okay? Just pretend you are, even if you're not. This person will never again talk to me, I think. Maybe they will. I don't know. P.S. If you are a Japanese girl or you're a girl and you are single, my email is deconvertedman1@gmail.com. I'm so desperate. Okay. All right. I'm going insane. It's time to end the video. Wait, I didn't even watch the video that he has. I'll have to do that at a different time. I don't even know what the video is about. He calls it, what is atheism? Is God's existence based on religious books remaining the same over time? Question mark. Sounds like an interesting video to watch and review live. So we'll do that at a different time, though. I wasted so much time explaining how he didn't answer a question. Isn't that cool, though? Ask me. Do I have empirical evidence, repeatable tests of whatever my claim is? I don't know what claim I'm making. Usually the skeptic doesn't make a claim. They ask you to prove your claim. That's usually the role of the skeptic. It's like, how do you prove that that's true? Well, I don't know. Okay, fair enough. I don't have any proof. Okay, cool. All right, moving on. Let's stop dancing around each other and let's try to actually address the thing and not complain about, well, I don't have it and you're asking for the wrong thing. Okay, fine, you don't have it. I'm asking for the wrong thing. Great, wonderful. But you still don't have it. Whether or not I'm asking for the wrong thing doesn't matter. Just say you don't have it. Let's just move forward then. Okay, what you got? What do you have? Historical evidence? Do you, though? Do you really have historical evidence? Or do you have things that are written that are called history because they happened a long time ago? But if I write something, it becomes historical, right? I mean, it's in the past. There's a book called The Lobsterist that I don't know who wrote it. Maybe it was me. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not saying that it is or isn't. I'm just saying it's available on my About page. I've brought it up many times. I try to convert people into lobsterism all the time. Nobody, by the way, has ever refuted it. Nobody has even made a video about it that I know of. So, here you go. There's The Lobsterist. That was written in the past. It makes lots and lots of sense. It's only 31 pages. It's a short book, easy to refute if you wanted to do it. So that's history. Do I need to give you empirical evidence that stuff is true? Do I need to give you repeatable evidence that that stuff is true? If not, then what evidence do I have that any of it is true? How do I show that those things are even plausibly true? And this is going to be an open-ended question. How, if the lobsterist is true, how do I demonstrate that it's true? Let me know in the comments once this is a video so I can get some comments, please. That helps things to be things. Thanks to everybody. That's just, I can't words anymore. Thanks. That's it. Thanks everywhere. I don't know, they can go suck a big old giant lemon. My Rocco. Don't start. I have videos about how much I hate that thing. All right, thanks for listening. Hopefully this may have made you think of something in a different way than you did before, or maybe you have your own thoughts on this exchange. Let me know those in the comments. If you have a video you want me to analyze for logical fallacies, email it to me, deconvertedman1@gmail.com. Or anything else that you think that I should know about or want to talk to me about live or whatever. If you want to set up an interview or talk or whatever, hey, yeah, email me, deconvertedman1.com. Same thing for this guy. If he happens to listen to this video to this point, I want him to type out meow, 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 I'm a cow in the comments. If he doesn't do that, well, then he didn't watch the video or he skipped to the end. I don't know, whatever. At any rate, for the rest of you and for him as well, I would say that until we have empirical evidence, repeatable test, or a valid and sound argument, we should be skeptical of the conclusions. Also, until next time, be skeptical, and after next time, stay skeptical. This has been Deconverted Man. Meow, 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 meow. This is the outro music song. It's the outro. I could play it all day long. It's the outro music song. And I could sing it all day long. It's the outro music song. It's the outro music song. And I could play it all day long. Plus end the stream. Oh my god, it's still going. It's the outro music song. And I could play it.